Oh, yeah, what do you need?
I'll use one.
Alright, get some more.
Star. Star.
Mr. Maharaj.
Rosita.
I think she went to change or something.
Anything else on outside? So that they take the drink or anything you want?
is
Yeah, we'll take them all yesterday. It's really just like because you have to take it on a plane and any other thing where they're just not That's fine. Case costs more than the drugs. Not even
Yeah.
What not you think about scary?
No, we had to put it in the luggage underneath. They said it was too big.
Then so ahead.
Yeah.
I could plug in the Alexa.
That's what it's there for.
Okay, có nhiều anh ngồi chơi. Cola. Anybody want water?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like celebrating. All the stuff done.
When he lost his faith in his integrity,
Oh,
his idea he's knowing language and
yeah.
this morning.
So it marked like the completion of 13 day, 1 year. So now it's just the next one will be like in 1 year.
Okay.
And then
Learning period is for 13 days.
yeah, I mean,
Not just the medical. I just do. Yeah, the full tradition. Of course. Yeah.
Tomorrow is adventure. So Saturday night, on Saturday it started today.
Yeah, we, I'm gonna shoot one is from Jet, one is from Pakistan. And one from Trinidad, and one from Trinidad is more religious. Yeah, the one of them is from Jet, he said that I can't. When he was younger, he used to. Yeah. And the one from Pakistan, he used to Batik. When you remind him, then he used to remember. Then he knows what it is. Yeah.
yeah, but the coaching thing too.
We have the coaching, so.
Somebody sitting there. I'm fine. I don't want to take
Chairs back there. We need some chairs back there.
I know, right? Charlie, you put it on the TV over there. Go on the microphone.
Sound check, 1, 2, sound check. Testing the sound. Sound check. Principal is Sri Ramachandra King.
Right.
Devotees, I'd like to welcome one and all to our satsang this afternoon. As per our tradition or custom, we start all our devotion with invocation. So we ask you to try to stabilize the mind for a bit and join us as we do invocation prayer. Our Divine Lord to come and sit amongst us for the next hour of 1 hour or so.
Guru Ram लाल की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण। राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राम देखा घन श्याम देखा, राम देखा घन श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा। राधा तेरे श्याम हमें मथुरा में देखा, राधा तेरे श्याम हमें मथुरा में देखा, राधा तेरे श्याम हमें मथुरा में देखा, बंसी बजाते हुए, बंसी बजाते हुए किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा। राधा तेरे श्याम हमें वृंदावन में देखा, राधा तेरे श्याम हमें वृंदावन में देखा, राधा तेरे श्याम हमें वृंदावन में देखा, रास रचाते हुए, रास रचाते हुए किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राम देखा घनश्याम देखा, राम देखा घनश्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरे श्याम देखा। कभी राम बनेगी कभी श्याम बनेगी, चले आना प्रभु जी चले आना, कभी राम बनेगी कभी श्याम बनेगी, चले आना प्रभु जी चले आना, चले आना प्रभु जी चले आना। तुम राम रूप में आना, तुम राम
if there's anybody that is desirous of singing a bhajan, now is a very good time. We welcome anyone to come and join us. And everyone.
When you have this, and you're opening out to sing, next slide for
Yeah?
yeah, you need to sing. So, if you could sing a bhajan,
Thank you.
Actually, devotees, so we've had some beautiful chanting of the divine name of our Lord and Master. And as per the request of the family, we'll do a couple verses from Ramcharitmanas. Again, I'd like to welcome one and all to the satsang this afternoon. Mala, special welcome. Your mom, Mikey, Sita, the kids, and all of you that have been there to support this family. Today is their day, but tomorrow is ours. Just remember that. And this one was a little challenging, but it's a good lesson for us. That life is challenging. It's not going to be easy. It's always going to be challenging. And if it's ever too easy, you do something wrong there. But through the grace of the divine and with the guidance and proper guidance of the pundits that were involved, everything has taken place. We've come to the stage where the final Bandhara is completed. And our dear brother Singh, wherever his soul is, I don't know. I'm not a pundit. I'm not a priest. I'm not a imam. I'm definitely no Siaman. So I can't tell you where his soul is. But based upon what our scriptures say, once we follow the procedures as prescribed, and they have as such been followed, that, either based upon his karma, either that soul merges with God, or he has to come back and work out more karmas. And these are stuff, details that you and I should take heed to. As I said, our time will come, and we have the opportunity to determine our future. A lot of us don't realize that our future is in our hands, but we take it for granted. So we just finished celebrating Mahashivratri Sunday night, and I know, especially in Trinidad, there's Carnival Sunday night. You could choose to go in the Monday and wait till 3 in the morning, or Carnival Sunday night, you could go and give them left, right, and center. 3 in the morning, you go and put on your mud and wherever you choose to do. The choices are there. We also have those choices. But it's building our karmas. And our brother Singh, he dedicated his life from New York to Florida, serving his community and giving selflessly. If it wasn't involved in Bandharas, it was doing cultural shows. If it wasn't cultural shows, it was Diwali programs. If it wasn't Diwali program, so many different things he was involved in.
Studio.
And the radio station, given selflessly to the community. I mean,
Anybody's young, anybody's
oh yeah, he was always there and always giving. If he had to advertise it for free, he could do that. And all of this, people might figure, putting on a nice pretty kurta and going every Sunday in the temple and saying that I'm really holy. But there's much more to going in the temple and saying no. Because the temple has to be prepared, it has to be cleaned, prasad has to be made, food has to be cooked, dishes has to wash. So the fellow who put on the pretty kurta and sit on the figure in Malika is the man controlling it, doesn't realize that it's a whole. Beautifully Lord Krishna describes it. He says it's like a mala. Each one of the mala have a different bead. He said each one of these beads, they're very valuable, but they're all different. So I might be good at knocking a little bit of drum, and Niri will be good at playing a little organ, and Auntie Mala will be good at singing a little song. Ba kya ko? Auntie Mati ko? And to decorate the mandir, we are good at that, and making little cake. But when you combine all of these together, then we get the full Saranyo as such, as to how we put it together for it to work. It doesn't work with just me alone. I remember one of the greatest pandits I ever came across with saying to me once, he said, I could sit down behind a book and I could kill him whole night. If I have a group, nobody coming to hear me. So we all depend on each other. And Bhagwan Singh made it possible for us to look forward to getting up on a Saturday morning. And on a Saturday morning, I know there were people that was dancing in their homes to the music. He had artists from all over, from India, from Trinidad, no matter where. So he did his part. He did his duty. Not like how we were doing it, but he did it in a different way. Similarly, the guy who washing the dishes every day in the temple or in the yagna or wherever, or the fellow who went to cut the leaves, his blessing is not different from mine. It may be even more. So we have to understand it, that it's service. And this beautiful word is used, para-upakara. The service to humanity is service to mankind. Gandhiji loved to use that word. So we're here to remember all the good things that he did and to do a little katha for us now. Our turn coming next. Just remember that. I started by saying that, and I'll continue reminding you. Our turn is coming next. Death is coming very soon. You know, we have no guarantee. I have no guarantee that when I leave here, that I'm going to reach to my home. 8 years ago, Malaka testified that she was in the hospital room bringing medicine for me. We have no guarantee, absolutely none. That when
no, I gave you a guarantee. I told you you'll be fine.
that death would not come to us. So prepare for that. And how do you prepare for that? Our beautiful Lord and Master gives us beautiful kathas in Ramayan. So we're going to do Ramayan Simiran and we'll do a little discourse. And hopefully it will get us a little more closer to our mental thinking when it comes to God and how we should live our life when it comes to our Dharma. Yeah. So one of the things that I'm not accustomed to doing is literally preparing, looking to do research on a katha and come and read. I'm not old, but I started young. And back in those days, we just opened where the book we read. So we opened and we decided to do this katha here, which I'm about to do. But prior to getting into the Doha, the page before, there's this beautiful chaupai that nearly all of us know. And we're reading from Uttarakhand in our Charit Manas, and our discourse will take place on page 722. But the discourse is one that's being delivered by the Lord Himself. So we have narrations taking place in Ramayan. You have Kagusha to Garud. You have Bharadwaj, Sant Samaj. You have Tulsidas giving discourse. You have Shiv Shankar Maharaj to Parvati, to Uma. Different discourses by different very holy divine people. But in this instant, Sri Ram himself is speaking. And he speaks, and he's saying, Bhari Bhagya Manus Tampava. He said it's a great fortune that you and I have been given a human birth. We believe in the theory of reincarnation. We believe in the process is called Avagaman, going and coming, and going and coming. It's a process of purification towards getting his soul to the highest level and then merging with God. But he says, it's great fortune to have human birth. He says, all the scriptures declare it's very difficult to attain this human form. Even the gods in the celestial Hinduism, we believe there's something even greater than heaven. Heaven is just a nice place to go and relax if you want. I'm just literally translating it now. But it's even beyond heaven, where that soul merges with divine Atma, merges with Paramatma, which is even beyond heaven. So he says, even those up there, they attain it and try to get it. He said, but yet you're fortunate enough to get the human body. This human body, which is one of the only forms that is suitable for spiritual endeavor. So you have a human body where you can take your hands and take flowers and offer them in your feet. Where you can take your feet and you can walk to the mandir. Where you can take your voice and sing the praises of God. How many of us see it as that? So we've grown up in a society where we're accustomed to taking everything and everybody for granted. So I could sing a little bit. Bhagwan, Maha Abhiman. I'm real good, buddy. I'll go ahead. I will pay me to sing that. And if I don't have it, no way, I vex everybody. He says you have been given a gift, a great gift. How are you using it? Me, I figure I'm the best drummer I have. Nobody can play drum with me. And Mark and my son playing better than me, I was so happy. If my son better than me, what do I want to give? I have achieved everything I need when it comes to love. He says, Satyahil. He says, you have this human body, and it's suitable for spiritual endeavors. This human body is the gateway for deliverance. He says, and yet still, there are those who receive it, and they still can't get to heaven. How come then? Well, people that say, take a horse or whatever, you can't make it drink. Huh? We've been given all the instructions how to get to God, how to rid ourselves of all the pain and all the suffering and yet still we're not getting it. How come? We're very sad, we're very unhappy, we're very frustrated. How come? Sri Ram is saying, the secret, he explains, and he jumps to this katha now that we are going to do, which is the next page. And we will hear what he says in the opening.
अनुराग ए अद्भुत मात सब ही कहो अर्जोनी रामा सब ही मार्ग सद्गुणी संसार भजन मेरा भजति नमः रामा भजति नमः या भगवान
his devotees, his followers. This is after they've all come back from winning back Sita, come back from Lanka. And he calls Guruji, Guru Vashish. It's important that you consult your spiritual preceptors and get the proper advice. And together with Guruji and all those who were his followers and his supporters, he says with folded hands, this is the Lord speaking. He says with folded hands, first lesson, most beautiful. This is God, Divine Father, and He is so free of the Abhiman. He says with folded hands. You want to speak to people? You want to address them? There's a way to do it. Lord is telling us, He says with folded hands. He says, I lay before you one of the most secret doctrines that there is in Ramayan. And what is the secret doctrine? He starts by saying, without adoring Shiv Shankar Maharaj, no man or woman can attain to have faith in me. You want to say, there are people like that? He says, if you want to get to me, you have to have faith in Lord Shiva. What is he saying? That he and Shiva is different? On the banks of the southern tip of India, Rameshwaram, where he built the lingam before he goes to Lanka, and he did lingam puja there. And after the lingam puja was finished, voices emanated that Ram is doing worship to Shiva from that lingam. Shiva Hridayam, Ram Hridayam Shiva. Shiva is Ram, Ram is Shiva. And as Hindus, we need to understand our dharma. So, when God creates, he is called Brahma. When God sustains what he creates, is Vishnu, Ram, Krishna. When he reabsorbs what he creates, he is Shiva. No different. None at all. So he says, as he starts this beautiful discussion here, he says, I want to address you. I want to lay down a very secret doctrine to you. We need to have discussion. It's important that we have discussion. And he starts by saying, know that you have to have faith in Shiva. And he's going to unfold this beautiful katha in the following chapter. Of faith. We have faith. You have faith in God. You have faith in the doctor when you go to the doctor. He says, this faith, it doesn't require mind control. It doesn't require sacrifice. It doesn't require a job. Simple enough. We have faith. But have you ever put your faith to test? He says, no fasting, no penance, only a guileless disposition, that the mind free from anything that's negative and perfectly contented. contented with whatever you get. So he's saying, Prabhu is addressing him. He says, the secret doctrine is to have faith. But how do you have faith? You are having faith that requires no mind control. You don't have to fast. You don't have to do job. No penance. And be totally contented with whatever you get. So I come here, America, I see a brand new Corolla, and I like Corolla. If you like Corolla, I'm like, boom. So I get a Corolla. So I like good with that. 2 years after, they bring out a better version. I say, you know what? This one looking better, you know. I want that one. So I go and trade in the other one that I have working perfectly and give no trouble. Go for this better fellow, the new one. Prabhu said, contentment in whatever we get. And as fate would have it, how come I lose my job? Can't pay the bills. I had a new car now. Can't make that payment. And I sat down and I said, boy, if I had the old car was already paid off for. If I could be contented with our old car, you know, and I wouldn't be in this position now. Simple day-to-day activities that is occurring in our lives. Prabhu is saying contentment. It's a beautiful word, santosh. Are we contented with our lives? Or are we always striving to get more and get more and get more? And if you're striving for more, spiritually is fine. Nothing is wrong with that. Because the more you strive for spirituality, automatically it will come in. It will come in such a beautiful way. He says, there is no pain involved in the path of faith. So he's telling them that you must have faith. How does he describe these devotees? Or what does he say to them that he wants for them to further with this faith? He explains in the following Chaupadi.
Jai
I'm telling you, the secret is to have faith, and have faith in me. Put everything and trust into me. Know that I am here for you. Know that I'll be the one for you. I will make it good for you. I will make it easy for you. I will make it divine for you. But if he who calls himself a devotee of mine, you put your confidence, your faith in a regular man, a regular human being, man, woman, child, whoever, then what faith do you have in me? And we've seen it happen so many times, right? Especially with our Hindu people, that we get up in the morning and we offer dal or jal, we light our deers at 6 o'clock in the evening, and we do everything that our scriptures say we should do. We fasting and we observing all the religious ceremonies, and little difficulties come in our life, sickness, disease come, and immediately that faith starts to build. You go, say, Pandit, come and do puja, check the book. You don't get the answers immediately. So you decide now, you have to go monks in Benedict, or you have to go Maruga, or you have to go, you're going by every Tom, Dick and Harvilla now. Where's the faith? Where is that faith? That faith that, yes, my Lord and Master, I know that you are there for me. I know that you will protect me. I know that you are the one that, life isn't easy. I will get tested. But the minute we get tested, we become weak and we fall apart. And we call ourselves Hindu with it. We are our bulls and enemies. We are the ones. Bade bhage manush power, as you say. We have this body and use it to do good. Don't use it to destroy it. What do you want to destroy? The dharma in which you've been brought up in? There's a beautiful katha where Lord Vishnu is up in Vaikuntha heaven and Lakshmi Ma is there giving him a little massage on him. You hear that, Sita? It's good to give your husband massage on him. So he's sitting up there and he gets up and he leaves as though as if he's going somewhere. But then he comes back inside. So Lakshmi Ma said, Prabhu, what happened? He said, Mataji, look on earth and see what's happening. What's happening on earth is that there's a dhobia, washer person, and he's washing his clothes by the river, and he's coming up and he's putting it on the savannah grass to dry. And as he's going back down to make the next trip, he come up and he put it. While he's down there, now there's just sadhu, and sadhu is so engrossed and so full of devotion, he's calling the Lord's name and singing the Lord into the highest. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You ever sing the Lord's name when you get lost and you don't even know where you are? That's a real good feeling. This is what is happening with this sadhu. And as he's doing that, not conscious of the fact that he's walking upon the man's clothes. The man now wash his clothes and he put it in, and you walking on top of the guy's clothes. So the dhobia come up and see him. And the dhobia is shouting, hey, hey, but he's not hearing him because he's singing the Lord's name. He's chanting that name of Prabhu. That's the only thing that matters to him, that name of God. So dhobia say, oh, that way Prabhu teacher, that disrespect people and disrespect their hard work. Them old time dhobia and them used to have them lati. You know what lati na? The older heads don't know. It is younger ones there with lati. You take up a lati, good piece of nice stick, man, and he start to run behind him. And as he's running behind him, he can say, I can show you Hare Ram, Hare Krishna today. He's running behind him with the lati. Sadhu is still chanting the Lord's name. And as he's chanting the Lord's name, and he's hearing this grumbling and gurgling behind him now, So he looks around and he sees this guy coming. And that fella's long time they were physically fit, strong. See this man coming with his big stick. So he take up a little trot now and he going. But he's still calling the Lord's name. Doesn't stop calling the Lord's name. And he realized now that the dhobia is catching up to him. And in realizing that the dhobia is catching up to him, he looks down and he sees a brick. He says, oh my God, if this man catch up to me, he will really let me have it. So let me pick up a brick because it looked like I have to defend myself here today. So Lakshmi Ma is saying, Prabhu, I see what's going on there. The sadhu is a great devotee of yours. Man is calling your name non-stop. And so you get up and you were going to help him. He says, I was going to help him. He was calling my name. He says, but I came back inside when he decided to pick up the brick. Brick is Bhagwan now. Understand? At that very moment, when you need to intensify the devotion, when you need to intensify that faith, he decided, boy, I have to defend myself. So he gives up on God. That's you and I sometimes. That our faith, this is what Prabhu is saying. You put your faith in man, man could help you. Nobody can pray for you. Our gurus, our priests, our prophets, our imams, they will guide you in prayer. But they can't pray for you. We have to do that ourselves. We have to do that. We have to have that faith in God. That faith in our Lord and Master that yes, Prabhu, through your grace, all things is possible and I leave it in your hands. And that's where we get it test. And sad to say, that's where most of us feel miserably. He says, what faith does he or she have in me if you take that faith and you put it in somebody else? But why should I dwell on the subject at greater length? These are the principles of conduct, my brother. He's going to tell him now. The principles of conduct by which I am one. You want to win over God? He's going to explain in the next chapter.
Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri 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 Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Aga Anurama, Sumapaya Nahi, Aga Samapa. Nahi Krata, Sukha Nahi Nahi Praja, Samara Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Ananda Harampa, Anikita Amani, Ananda Harampa. Anikin Amani Ananda Nugagat Vijani Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram.
Sri Ram says to his followers, his devotees, he says, I explain to you now, my brothers and sisters, the principles of conduct by which I am one. And these are the days, my friends, I wish if we'd all have our books and open to follow. Back in the old days, when the books were in Sanskrit, we couldn't understand it. Then they were in Hindi, and still many of us couldn't and can't understand it. But now it's in English, and I think nearly all of us can understand this. He says, the conducts by which I am one. He says, when I'm speaking here, he says, avoid enmity. First one. Avoid enmity. Everybody have somebody. I don't talk to he, I don't talk to she, I vex for this one, I vex for that one. But the minute you get into that, 1 point you have less. Do one pick no quarrel with nobody. Who you quarreling with? And why? You don't realize that tomorrow you might not be here. Tomorrow you will not be here. Krishna is telling Arjuna in the battle of Kurukshetra, look at them over there. They're dead already. They are dead. What are you worrying about them for? We are all dead. Don't we realize that? Death will come knocking anytime, any minute. Who are you picking quarrel with? Why you want enmity? Prabhu says, avoid these things. These are the conducts that you will get that to win me. Hope for nothing. And want nothing. Fear nothing. We fear, we fear the dark, but we fear death more than anything else. We fear the dead more than anything else. Prabhu said, fear nothing. Hope for nothing and want nothing. Bring back memories, but I won't discuss it. Because there are people in our community, in our society that give selflessly. The one fellow said, I'm right. He don't want nothing, he hope for nothing, he don't care if he get anything, whether he give him, whether he ain't give him, doesn't bother him. Because his life is devotion. Prabhu said that. Hope for nothing, want nothing, don't expect nothing. Why can't we live our lives like this? Our scriptures is telling us and giving us the most divine, and this is what he says, He says it's the most secret doctrine. Sri Ram himself is giving this discourse. It's a sacred doctrine. What do I want? I want name and I want fame. Been there, done that. I don't need to play music. I don't need to sing. I always need to praise my Lord and Master. But no name, no fame, no nothing like that. He said, undertake it, nothing with an interested motive. But you know what? I will go by he, and I will do this, and when I do it, I know I will collect so and so. Or if I go there and I do this, then my name could be up there. My name could be on the board. My name could be up in the lights. Prabhu said, he said, live your life with no motives. Live it homeless. I have one here. This beautiful kata early in Ramayan. When Maynak, the mountain king, and his wife Himanchal, Maynak and Himanchal, when they were told that their daughter was getting married to this fella who don't live nowhere, he's been in the cemetery, he have ashes all over his body, then nearly fainted away and fall down. But they were speaking of none other than Sri Shankar Maharaj. He says, live your life like this. Be grateful for whatever little bit you have. He says, without pride and without sin. So what's this thing they call pride? Oh my goodness, it's the greatest destruction to our own lives. This thing they call pride. We're so full of it, that we can't. Me, I tell my wife every day, me and her, no pride. If I don't have such a... So when you're talking to somebody to your lifestyle sneezes, it's good. But if I am in my home and I don't have 2 aloo, And I know my neighbor just come from the grocery and I go, wow, but back in America, you go and ask your neighbor, just, let me have, pay you in the grocery when I get my little change. But some of us, even that, we have too much pride for that. So, he says, don't have no pride in your life. Live your life without pride. Live your life without sin. Live your life clever and wise. Don't choose enmity. Don't choose couture. Don't choose quarrel. This is the Lord Himself speaking. Always want to find a quarrel and an argument. For what? Sometimes the best thing to do is just walk away. Ram Nam and you walk away. Sita Ram Bhai and you walk away. For what? What is the gain? And we always fearful. Oh my goodness, we fearful. And we afraid the most death. There was this fellow, he was very, very ill. And he went to the doctor. So the doctor took him into the examination room, and as the doctor was preparing, as he finished examining, he was prepared to leave the examination room. He said to the doctor, he said, Doc, I'm afraid to tell you. I'm scared to die. You is a man of intelligence. Tell me what you think lie on the other side. Tell me, doctor, listen. Tell me what you think lie on the other side. And very quietly the doctor said to him, I don't know. Some people, you go to them expecting an answer and they give you the total opposite and it puts you back a bit now. Doctor says, I don't know. He says to him, he said, you don't know? How come you don't know? You are the doctor, you know everything. He says, you're a religious man. Do you know what's on the other side of the door? So the doctor now, he was holding on to the handle of the door. And on the other side of the door, there was a scraping sound, scratching sound. Some of us will get more than scared. So there's this scraping, scratching sound. And as he opened the door, a dog was on the other side, and the dog sprang into the room, ran into the room. He leaped upon him, and very eager to show. When, for those of us that have dogs and love dogs, when you come home and your dog see you, you know how happy he is to see you. They say sometimes 4 foot is way better greeting than 2 foot. Then 4 foot more happy to see you than 2 foot. So the dog was very happy to see him, very glad. And turning to the patient, the doctor said, did you notice my dog? He's never been in this room before. He didn't know what was on the other side. He knew nothing except that I, his master, was on this side. And when the door opened, he sprang in without fear. I know little of what is on the other side of death. But I know one thing, that my master is on the other side, and that's good enough for me. How beautiful he ends that. I don't know what's on the other side, but I know my master is there. That's the faith he's speaking about. That's the faith Prabhu is saying, that you must have that faith. You must have that devotion. You must have that belief that no matter what it is, that your Lord and Master, whether you love Sri Ram, whether you love Devi Ma, whether you love Shiv Shankar Maharaj, whether you love Krishna, Bhagwan, whoever, but know that your Lord and Master is there for you. He continues his beautiful discussion in the following chapter.
Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
hope for nothing, fear nothing, fear no one, do afraid the dead. He says, always love fellowship of the good and account the enjoyments even as in heaven, same as in heaven. If you feel happy when you're up in heaven, the same way. If you're down here and you're not up in heaven and death comes knocking upon you, same way. Ho gaya, so gaya. It doesn't make a difference. Prepare for death. And Singh did that. He prepared. He knew what was coming and he made his arrangement. He left his instructions.
This is my fault you're talking about now.
So Prabhu is saying, that's what we need to do. He says, love the fellowship of the good. If a man doing something good, support that. There's a certain discipline we as musicians have. And especially those of us who play dholak and stuff like that. And from way back at home, I had adopted this. That whenever we sit in a garage to play music, no matter who comes with their music, we give them a little hand to play with. You come here to do devotion, you come here to pour your hearts out to God, and you encourage somebody who's doing devotion. You don't pull them down. You don't say, nah, you ain't good enough. Oh, I better than you, I got to show off on you tonight. Doesn't work like that. That is not devotion, that's a show. Anytime you go there and you want to take over the show, you ain't go there to do devotion, you go there to make a show. Prabhu is saying, enjoy that fellowship of the good. Whoever comes, join with us. Sing, play. He says, enjoyment of heaven. See it as the same as the final release. No more than just a blade of grass. No more than that. Persistent in faith and innocent of folly. Give up all contentious arguments. He keeps saying this. Give up all arguments. He says, give up all contentious arguments. What we are arguing for, what we are quarreling for, why we just can't be united as one divine human family. I mean, something like Harriet. On Sunday morning, when you see a get up, I want to see you want donut, I want to see you want basil, I want tomato choker, I want one bacon. So four of them want something different. But if when they get up and you say, listen, we have food. And wherever we put it, thank God for it, and then we eat it. But we cannot let it spoil them sometimes. No? So give everybody something different. He says, give up all contentious arguments. This is how you will get to him. We're not here to fight each other. We're not here to quarrel with each other. We're not here to. We're here to support each other. As you all have been coming and supporting this family. About the night we were here and when the night we weren't here, but you're continuously coming and supporting them. And as I said, we're here tonight, but tomorrow night we might be at my home, if I'm so lucky. He has to be lucky. You know how many people died as we're speaking? Right now they're looking for bodies up in the Avalanche area in Los Angeles. Families are mourning, they're losing lives. But how many people are fortunate enough to get somebody to read scripture on their behalf, to say something good on their behalf, to congregationally get together and ask the divine Lord that, Prabhu, wherever that soul is, give it peace, give it happiness, show it some love. Help it as just making his journey, as he's crossing this house agar. Help him. Prabhu, you come and take that soul. How many people are fortunate to get that? He's getting that. It means something about that he definitely had to be a good soul. No? So this is what he's saying here. He says, give up all contentious arguments. Live good, live happy. And we have our final doha, and we will conclude with his part. Devotees in the final duha tonight. Bhagwan says, devoted to my perfection and my name. Early in Ramayan again, in Bhagwan, beautiful discussion that takes place with Narad Muni. Where he says to him, the question is asked, is the name Ram greater than the form Ram? Is the name of that Prabhu greater than the form? Your name goes a long way. Your name goes a long way. And I was watching this fellow from Trinidad, probably certified Samson. But he has a thing that he keeps saying now. I build this brick by brick. I build my name brick by brick. That's a serious statement. Huh? When I was growing up, most of the people in my village never knew my name. My father had a name that everybody knew him by. And he would say, look, so and so son. They never called me and my name. Leave a good name. Leave a good name anywhere you go. Leave a good legacy. Prabhu said, devoted to my perfection and my name. Ramayan came with our ancestors. How many years ago? Many, many years. 1845. And to this day, we still continue to read Ramayan. We have this desire, this urge to hear Ramayan. We have this so great. So great is this scripture, so great is the divine name of Him. And I urge you that every chance you get to call that divine name. And it's all good, you know, you put me in a country called America, sometimes you drive in the road and you see the name, you see Dodge, R-A-M. And every time you say, I have to see my Lord name. That's a good thing. That name is there to remind you how great this name is. And I tell you, call it, continuously call it. I think it was a Sitaram. Anyway, we meet at a Sitaram. But may that divine Sri Sitaman, Prabhu Ram, dwell in you. And you answer that may first be in you. You see, and you tell somebody Sitaram, you have enmity towards them. We have some people like that. The same divinity in each other. This is what he's saying. Devoted to the perfection, my perfection, my name. He says, free from attachment. Live your life free from attachment. You're attached to, oh my goodness. When I die and I go, I ain't getting the house, I ain't getting the land, I ain't getting the car, I ain't getting nothing. The drum which I love so much, I can't get that on all those. You know, it's something that we have to be able to realize that we will leave absolutely nothing here.